Hey there, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the 5 C's: controlling, criticizing, complaining, competing, comparing. So, when we're trying to change, often resistance is going to show up because that is the natural law of opposition. It has to push back. So, this is to encourage you and to keep you pointed in the right direction, especially if you are tracking your emotions, you are writing in your journal, and you are becoming more aware of the thoughts that are leading to feeling stuck, feeling anxious, feeling depressed, feeling numb, because those feelings are directly responsible for behaviors. So this is maybe a little bit of a reminder of what our whole goal is. But as we uncover these thoughts and we're aware and we're observing and we can see that they're hurting us, now what? Right? So we have the mindfulness of, okay, I have this negative thought and I am shooting on myself and I am telling me, the perfectionist in me is saying I should have XYZ done. I should be better than I am. I should lose weight. I should eat better. All of those are just a way to shame. So once we realize, okay, I have this negative thought, it could be a current self-talk. Also, I want to mention false beliefs and thoughts that have been given to us in our childhood or throughout the years that we have used. It's in the database. It is in our brain. It has a file, and it says how something should be. So we all have beliefs that do not serve us, and your mind lies to you. So your mind straight up lies and takes advantage of that and is responsible for feelings and behaviors. But what about the words and thoughts that someone else has given us, and our subconscious has made a file for those? So no matter who you are, whoever you grew up with started a file for you about the way you feel about money, relationships, and health. So, and those are just the the key topics, but there are files in our brain that are based on what other people told us as we were growing up, and if we're not aware of those could really be wreaking havoc on our feelings and behaviors currently, decades later. So when we discover those false beliefs, we need to do something about them. So the first thing is to actually discover what is the thought, whether it's what I have accumulated or it was given to me, that does not serve me or just makes me feel bad. Because your feelings are signals about what we're thinking about. And so what we want to do is we don't want to numb our feelings. We want to be curious. We want to inquire. So that's going to lead us to more will be revealed as far as what and where this thought came from. So when I think of I'm not good enough, I don't have enough, I don't do enough, there are beliefs that were triggered from early life. So I'm going to just give an example of just this week of how I discovered um, an awareness in the day that I was in. So woke up and I just automatically felt like this is going to be a hard day. I want to go back to sleep. I want to run away. I don't like the way I feel. And I had my mind kind of felt like I woke up and it was racing. There was just, well, I now know there was like 10 things going on in my mind because I felt overwhelmed. So my first, the feeling was a signal. So I wrote down the trick of just writing down a list of all the things that I felt upset about. And there was beliefs, there was people, there was things I needed to do, and it was all, I mean, I just wrote. And then just seeing everything on the paper helped me prioritize what I needed to look at first. So the tool of pen to paper is so big, right? And I had a fear, and the fear was from an event that happened a long time, but it's been stopping me from moving forward. And it was from, a key person in my childhood giving me information that was keeping me stuck. So noticing that it was a fear from childhood that, now I'm 46 years old. So just seeing that on paper helped me know what to do next. So what I'm working on right now is gathering information about hormone replacement. And I have been terrified to talk to a doctor about it because of these beliefs from early childhood that I collected. So I had a belief, I had information that was no longer serving me. So writing it down, I also was able to talk about it. So I went to my physician and I gave her my fears. I said, I'm afraid of cancer, and I got this information about this particular hormone cream, and it goes against like what you're saying. And so she was able to give me scientific evidence and proof of something that was more true. Now, it doesn't really matter if it's true or not, because it's about recognizing the fear. So if I have a belief that is keeping me stuck from being open to another experience, that's what I'm trying to uncover. So the fact that, okay, so writing it down, a life of consultation, meaning I'm out loud talking to somebody. So what happened to me this week is, yes, I talked to my physician. Yes, I wrote it on paper, and I still was feeling anxious. Now, my mentor that I talked to wasn't available. So she referred me to her friend, and her friend said to leave her a voice recording. So I wanted, because I don't know this person very well, I wanted to be very specific about what I had a question about, what I was in fear about, and I wanted to be articulate in a short amount of time, right? So I, again, went to paper so that I could be concise. And I left her a 7-minute voicemail. And what's so interesting is I know why now she didn't get the message, but the message didn't go through. I will tell you that after I had written it down and verbally talked it out loud, even though no one heard it, I felt better. So we also want to look at what can I do to change this false belief. So if I have a belief that, we'll just take the hormone one, that I'm afraid of cancer. Okay, so that was the fear behind not moving forward or even gathering information. So if I have that, where does it fit? Is it comparing, competing, controlling, complaining, criticizing? So when I had this story about cancer, I am also comparing myself to other people as far as getting the hormone replacement. Some people don't need it, some people do. So again, it's like believing that I'm better than or less than somebody who doesn't take hormones. And again, that's kind of competing can kind of come in there too, because it's like, well, I'm better than somebody else if I don't have to take them. The control of, if I control my life, I won't get cancer. Again, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because we don't have control over when we die, and we all die. So whether or not I get cancer is beside the point. It's these different ways my mind is trying to trick me or get me off course. Complaining. So of course I don't want to do anything about my symptoms of hormones, so I complain or I distract myself, blame, and verbally talk, like have a bad attitude, right? That's what complaining is. It's a bad attitude. And so when we're susceptible to that, what happens next? We are hard on ourselves and we're hard on other people, and the cycle continues. So we criticize. What I am going to suggest next is that you're going to actually pick one of the 5 C's, like complaining. And this is not about trying to be perfect. It is about a goal. And remember, goals give our mind something to focus on, and it gives a direction for our mind. So when we focus on no complaining, and I want to suggest to take one of the C's and try not to do it for 3 days. So if we take complaining, that means we're not going to verbally complain for 3 days. Now, this exercise is to actually notice how much I complain. It is not to be perfect at it. It is to notice. Now, your mind, it's going to be out loud. So your mind is going to complain because that's part of our mind. That's part of what keeps us alive. It's part of what keeps us surviving and coping is that subconscious mind, which is always it has a negative default. So it is looking for things to complain about and to protect you from. So this exercise is about noticing when you complain, out loud. So it doesn't count if it is in your head. It counts if you say it out loud. So we're going to just do a little game for the next 3 days, the next 72 hours. You could just start right now. Not complaining. Just take this one aspect and have your phone have some place to actually track it, because tracking is another way for us to observe and be curious and see results and see who we are. Like, basically what we are doing is uncovering the way we think about ourselves and others and the way we feel about ourselves and others by just isolating this one C that has a lot to do with our feelings and behaviors. So that's going to be your homework for the next 3 days. I want you to make sure that you message me and let me know the time and date you started. And then at the end of the 3 days, let me know what your observations were, what your findings were, what you tracked. So that's going to be the tool to helping us uncover. Now, once we have that, what can we replace the false belief with? So what I realized is that I needed that it's okay to have a fear about cancer, but what can I replace? And there's also a story that goes along with that, right? How do I want to feel, and how do I want to look at cancer? So I need a new belief. I need a new piece of information or mantra to look at. And I love tapping around the ear because it shifts the energy, especially in that moment. When I say, it's okay. It's okay to feel afraid about cancer. It's okay to feel at peace. It's okay to trust. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to accept. It's okay to be in distress. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to be overwhelmed. And so what I'm doing is I am looking at the negative feeling, and I am replacing a feeling I would rather have, and using body language by tapping, scientifically proven to shift emotions. We want to shift our mind. It's a way to break the cycle of believing I need to be afraid of cancer. And I can even look for stories about that are inspiring. A lot of people survive cancer. A lot of people come to Jesus when they have cancer. There's so many amazing stories. Our brain, to protect us, automatically goes to negativity. Let's take relationships. So relationships are another one that when we've been hurt, we have a story about relationships. So being divorced or never having a relationship has a program, there's a file inside of our brain saying, no one likes me, I'm not lovable, it's too much work, it's too hard. There's these thoughts that feed the belief. And so we want to look at, okay, men have never wanted to be in a relationship with me. Is that true? what could I believe instead of that? So when we're talking about relationships, a lot of us have false beliefs about relationships. We have beliefs, whether they are true or false, they still do not serve us. And that's what I'm trying to drive home. We're talking about a thought that it doesn't even matter if it's true or not. We want to create something new. So I want to set aside what I think I know so I can have a new experience. So what we're doing is we're looking for a thought that is a little more true than, when I think of, men have never wanted to have a relationship with me. It's like, maybe even just, I've never wanted a relationship with men. Looking for a way to switch it around, turn it around. And maybe it's like, we're looking for, how do I want to feel about men? I'm okay with having a relationship with a man. I'm okay with having a boyfriend. I'm okay with being married. Most of us have a fear around being rejected or abandoned, so we have to have a story to create the results that we currently have. And it shows up. Our beliefs show up in our body language and what we're projecting out to the world. So if I'm open for a relationship, there's a body language that happens. If I'm afraid of a relationship, there's a body language that happens. So what we're doing is we are creating a shift, a paradigm in our thoughts. So being able to say, it's okay, I've never had a relationship. It's okay if I'm open to a relationship. It's okay to have a relationship. It's okay to be single. It's okay to be married. It's okay to date. It's okay to be alone. And I'm working on being able to acknowledge a thought and help my mind shift even a little bit towards, there is another choice. There's always another choice. So this week, I want you to focus on doing the exercise of looking for how much I complain and the thoughts that I'm complaining about, and then take those thoughts and shift them to something positive, inspiring, encouraging, gratitude. And we'll keep working on this, because letting go of negative thoughts isn't always that easy, and it's a skill. So we've been working on the awareness and open-mindedness and mindfulness of what exactly is my mind saying to me, and what is my self-talk? What is going on up here that is creating results out here in my life? So I'm going to have you try this out. We're going to just keep working on mindset. Remember, taking deep breaths, using body language, which, just even putting your shoulders back, practicing smiling. You can also do this in the mirror when you come up with a mantra or a belief that is a stepping stone. Like being able to say, I hate relationships. I'm open to liking a relationship. It's like these baby steps. And, I always have needed a life of consultation to be able to talk these thoughts out, to get more ideas. So if it's not coming right away, at least being able to write down what the belief or thought or programming that isn't serving you, just discovering that is huge. And being able to categorize it in, where does this fall in to the C's, so that you can see how the 5 C's are always coming out in programming that's going on all the time in the subconscious. So what we're doing is we're bringing that subconscious belief system to the conscious mind in the moment we're in, so that we can see and we can actually do something about it. So I hope this helps. I can't wait to hear about how comparing or complaining went this week. And just know that you are loved, and that this is a journey and a skill. This life is about developing skills that move us in a positive direction, which means we're growing. And it is not linear. It is going to be up and down. It's going to be smooth. It's going to be bumpy. And that's all part of it. It's not about being perfect. It's about experiencing. It's about growing. It's about learning. It's about being in this moment right now. Talk to you soon.